Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to this webinar on the Higg BRM or Brand and Retail module. Great to see that you have all joined us for this webinar today. This webinar is brought to you by Cascale and Worldly, and together we will present to you an overview of the BRM assessment, covering its value, relevance, as well as how to get started and support and training resources that we have available for you during this cadence. A few logistical details before we get started. Attendees are muted for the duration of the call, and please type all your questions in the Q&A box that you can find on the bottom of your screen. We are recording this session, and we will also share the recording with you afterwards via the email address that you used to register for this session with. So then let's have a look at our agenda. We will start with a small introduction for the participants amongst us who are new to our BRM ecosystem, and we'll introduce Worldly and Cascale. Then we cover an overview of the BRM led by Adrian from Cascale, and he will also take you through how the Higg BRM aligns to the CSRD. We'll cover a bit of platform navigation in a demo on how to navigate the BRM assessment on Worldly, and cover support and training resources, and we'll end with a Q&A. So I invite you to populate your questions in the Q&A box, and then we will donate time for them at the end of the presentation. All right. So the speakers for today, myself, Kasia Oostindi, I'm a sustainability analyst with the Worldly Customer Success team, and I am joined by Adrian Branco from Cascale. He is the Senior Manager of the Higg and Higg Brand and Retail program, and he's going to discuss all ins and outs of the BRM with you. But first, like I said, we'll start with a short introduction on Worldly and Cascale and the BRM ecosystem. So we are Worldly, the planet's most comprehensive impact intelligence platform. To know your footprint, you need credible data, you need tools to track and analyze your company's and supply chains' social and environmental impact. And that is why we have developed Worldly. We are the exclusive platform provider to the Higg Index tools developed by Cascale, and we also provide solutions to help you analyze your Higg Index data, to connect with your extended supply chain partners, and to understand where you have opportunities for improvement. And as sustainability is moving from a voluntary effort within organizations to a regulatory requirement, we Worldly are paying close attention to which policies are being introduced, and that way we make sure that we can support you with the data that you will need to follow and report to new legislations. And then on that note, I'm handing it over to Adrian to tell you more about Cascale, the Higg Index tools, and the BRM.
Thank you, Kasia. In February 2024, we unveiled a new name, new look, and more as a part of our ongoing evolution. Cascale is a global nonprofit alliance catalyzing collective action toward equitable and restorative business practices in the consumer goods industry. Formerly known as the Sustainable Product Coalition, or SAC, Cascale owns and develops the Higg Index. Initially formed to create a standardized sustainability metric, Cascale has refined its focus to driving pre-competitive collective action for a unified industry transformation. As an independent entity, Cascale brings together brands, retailers, manufacturers, NGOs, and other associations to combat climate change, ensure decent work, and contribute to a nature-positive future. Next slide, please. Next slide. The Higg Index is comprised of a core suite of 5 tools that delivers a common approach for measuring and evaluating the social and environmental impacts of value chains and products. These 5 tools are grouped across 3 categories: Higg product tools, Higg facility tools, and Higg brand and retail tools. The tools, they will evolve, they will continue to evolve as the science improves and our understanding of the industry challenges deepen, allowing us to support our members and the industry now and for the years to come. Next slide, please. The Higg Index stands today as a leading example of end-to-end sustainability measurement index for any industry. These tools go across the supply chain and from tier 4 to end of life. Facility tools for manufacturing of products, product tools for product designers, developers, and sourcing departments, and BRM for the brands to assess the entire start to end of life of their products, including their own operations as a company. Next slide. Again. As we dive deeper into the specific of our tools, let's focus on the Higg brand and retail model, or Higg BRM. This tool is the leading ESG framework developed specifically for the textile, apparel, and footwear industry. It serves a crucial role by enabling companies not only to assess their own sustainability performance, but also that of their business partners. The Higg BRM streamlines the reporting obligations that are often seen as a burden. By standardizing the assessment process, it facilitates a uniform approach across the industry. This uniformity is key to benchmarking. Companies can now directly compare their sustainability metrics against those of their peers. Furthermore, the Higg BRM enhances transparency. It achieves this through the use of consistent and verified data, which is critical in building trust both within the industry and with consumers. Ultimately, the aim of the Higg BRM is to drive a positive impact. It encourages improvements in sustainability practices by highlighting areas of strength and pinpointing opportunities for further engagement. Next slide, please. As we progress further into the specific of the Higg BRM, let us examine the unique feature that make it the best assessment tool in the industry. The Higg BRM is built upon an ESG taxonomy that aligns with well-known standards, facilitating the identification of critical impact areas and the measurement of meaningful progress. This enables companies not only to assess their current standing, but also to pinpoint where the most significant improvements can be implemented. The Higg BRM have been developed in collaboration with our members and essential industry partners, including Textile Exchange and CDSC. This alignment ensures that the data collected is not only relevant, but also integrated into the industry existing sustainability frameworks, reducing reporting burden significantly. The industry-specific nature of the Higg BRM means it doesn't just apply a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, it provides a score assessment that delivers precise insights tailored to address the unique challenge of our industry. The scoring methodology itself requires implementation efforts and tangible results, making it easier for companies to understand their ESG performance. It helps delineate clear paths for improvement and enables companies to set informed strategy actions to advance their sustainability agendas. Next slide, please. As we navigate through the Higg BRM taxonomy, it's important to recognize that our structured approach to ESG is designed to reflect the complexity and interconnectivity of sustainability issues in the fashion industry. At the core, our framework is anchored in 3 pillars: environment, social, and governance, which represent a holistic approach to assessing a company's impact and practices. Within each pillar, we delve into specific impact areas. For example, under environment, we examine aspects such as climate, water, or waste. Moving through our taxonomy, the Higg BRM covers all key aspects of the due diligence process according to the OECD guidelines: risk assessment, policy and commitments, measurement and targets, implementation and results, communication, and collaboration. Finally, we have categorized the questions based on criticality from critical to more advanced ones, labeled as a level 3. As we use this taxonomy, it becomes clear that the Higg BRM is more than a tool. It's a strategic guide for the industry to have a consistent sustainability strategy. Next slide, please. As we have mentioned before, the Higg BRM has been developed in collaboration with members, key partners organizations, including Apparel Alliance members, such as Textile Exchange and CDFT, who contribute to develop of specific content on materials, biodiversity, circularity, and chemicals. Those related questions are aligned with the material benchmark from Textile Exchange and Brand to Zero program from CDST. Furthermore, our collaboration with STTI and the MSI Working Group of the Common Framework of Responsible Purchasing Practices, represented by FEWE, has enhanced the assessment section on responsible purchasing practices. While we are developing the Higg BRM, we have prepared for the upcoming legislation, such as CSDDD or CSRD, which we are going to comment more in detail. Next slide, please. As we move forward, our work is increasingly focused on supporting compliance with the European Union's latest sustainability legislations, particularly on CSRD. This initiative is crucial for our members and users within the apparel, textile, and footwear industry to meet their compliance requirements while continuing to advance in sustainability. We are dedicated to ensure that the Higg BRM not only helps our members improve their sustainability practices, but also assist in their compliance journeys. Our goal for the upcoming year is to enhance the Higg BRM to bridge any existing gaps with the CSRD, thereby supporting our community compliance efforts and sustainability objectives even more effectively. We have been actively mapping the alignment between the Higg BRM and CSRD, particularly looking at the European standards guidelines to identify and address any potential discrepancy. Our pre-analysis shows a significant content overlap, around 60%, between the European standards and the Higg BRM. However, we are not stopping there. We are preparing detailed documentation, including a technical paper, which will provide deeper insights into the alignment between the BRM and the European standards, outlining the implications for sustainability reporting. This toolkit aims to reduce the reporting burden, preventing duplication of effort, and enable our members and users to formulate more consistent and effective corporate sustainability strategies. In 2024, our focus will remain on ensuring that the Higg BRM evolves as an indispensable tool for facilitating compliance with the CSRD mandates for companies operating in Europe. Next slide, please. So what to know for the current cadence of the BRM? Next slide. We have recently updated the BRM with minor changes. Our primary focus has been on maintaining compatibility with the previous version of the Higg BRM and ensure ongoing alignment with established frameworks like Textile Exchange and CDST. This continuity allows for effective year-over-year tracking of sustainability performance, ensuring meaningful comparability. In response to the feedback received and issues identified during the verification pilot, we have implemented target changes. This includes a complete overhaul of the guidance provided, adding further context, more detail, and a reorganized information for better accessibility and understanding. We have also refined definitions and include additional examples to enhance the value of the framework for users. While revising aligned with our new strategic plan, we evaluate the criticality of certain questions, making adjustments without affecting overall scoring to maintain comparability. We have also introduced 2 new questions on the social pillar to reflect the current trends and provide the needed granularity in the context of today's challenge. Next slide, please. The BRM verification process is available for all BRM users, and we strongly encourage to participate in this process as it serves multiple significant purposes. Firstly, verifying your BRM ensures the reliability of the information you report on your sustainability performance. This is crucial for both your internal assessment and when communicating with external partners. Verification also helps pinpoint specific areas within your sustainability strategy that may need improvement. By identifying these gaps, you can focus your efforts more effectively and strengthen your overall process. Moreover, the verification process aids in uncovering opportunities and provides a more detailed perspective on your key performance indicators. These deeper insights can be instrumental in driving your sustainability efforts forward. Next slide. And finally, to conclude my part of this webinar, I want to highlight the benchmark feature, which represents a new dimension to data, enabling easier and more effective benchmarking against your peers. Remember, access to this feature is exclusive for our members who submit their BRM reports by the deadline, which for this year is June 30th. The BRM benchmark has developed to provide various viewpoints to meet different objectives. It offers a general overview to facilitate C-suite discussions about your sustainability strategy, alongside detailed data for each sustainability pillar, catering to more in-depth analysis. This year, we are taking the feedback into account and redesign the benchmark to offer even more granularity and deeper insights. And now, handing over to Kasia. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian, for taking us through the different features, the benchmarking tool, verification, which is, of course, of great importance, as well as the work that Cascale is doing regarding CSRD compliance and the minor update for this year's BRM 2023. I will now take you to the platform, to the Worldly platform, and show you how to navigate the BRM assessment. Then we'll go over our training resources and make sure that we have enough time for questions. So this is the Worldly platform, and to navigate to the BRM module, you can click here, or under assessments, click Higg BRM. For all Cascale members, a BRM module is included in the Essentials Access subscription. If you are not a Cascale member, or if you are new to the Worldly platform, then you can purchase a subscription to get access to the BRM by going to the subscriptions page. So that is clicking here, or if you hover over your account and then click subscriptions. Then this is how you navigate to the different subscriptions that we have available. There's two categories of subscriptions. We have all access subscriptions that will give you access to all Higg Index tools, as well as the Worldly platform capabilities, such as the adoption tool. And then we also provide subscriptions, which we call basic subscriptions, so where you purchase access to the BRM module only, and that can be found here. All right, so after purchasing access to the BRM, you will end up here on the BRM dashboard. On the BRM dashboard, we can see multiple things. We can see the progress with our self-assessment. For this assessment, that is 3%. We've just initiated it. You can see verification progress if you are connecting verification, as well as the verifier that is doing the verification. And then here will also be where the results populate after you have completed and posted your self-assessment and the verified assessment. The results will show under this header. Then here in this column, we can see the different actions that are available to you, and that depends on your assessment status. So for the status assessment is initiated, you have these actions that are available to you. So you can edit your BRM, share your BRM assessment with your brand partners. You can post your assessment once you have reached 100%, and you can select the verifier body. There's also different download options available. So you can download a CSV file of the BRM that is for storing your data offline. And it also is useful for holding groups. So if you are a holding group, you have multiple brands, and you want to fill out a BRM on the holding group level, as well as on all the brand for each individual brand. And then what you can do is complete a BRM, download the CSV, and then each brand can upload the CSV to have the basic information from the holding group populated in the assessment. The Excel download is meant for collaborating offline. So you can share the Excel file with your colleagues and that way work on completing the BRM offline. And then afterwards, you can populate the answers again in the tool. Going to the assessment view, there are 4 different sections of the BRM. So we have the company profile. You will first need to complete the company profile since there are different pathways in the BRM. So we have a brand path, retailer path, and a brand and retailer path. And depending on what questions are applicable to your operations, different questions will populate based on the company profile. So then you continue to completing the environment, social and governance pillar sections. And for each of the sections, you can find a general explanation and link to the How the Higg guide, where you can find the question by question guidance for each question. And as you can see, there's also guidance linked to each question on the platform itself by clicking View Guidance. Lastly, what I want to explain here is that you can filter the questions that you see in your assessment by ticking these boxes. So you can filter on answered, filter on unanswered, and you can also filter on the different topics. So Adriaan told you about the different due diligence steps that are incorporated in the BRM's taxonomy. So you can, for example, filter on risk assessment or policy and commitments and filter the questions in that way. Amazing. So lastly, I just want to show you how to share your assessment. So after completing your BRM, you can click here on Share Assessment to share your BRM module and communicate your ESG performance with supply chain partners. Simply search through all Worldly accounts by name or Higg ID, and then click Share. All right, so then now let me return to the presentation. So for retailers amongst us who are looking to request a BRM from their brand partners for evaluating ESG performance, those retailers, you can use the adoption tool to help you in coordinating BRM rollouts. So the adoption tool helps tracking progress of companies towards completing the BRM. The adoption tool is meant for broader purposes. So it's also meant for rolling out FEM to your supply chain or FSLM, but so also for BRM. The tool has a feature where you can send targeted communications and share requests to all companies in your cadence. And it also gives you reports on how companies are progressing with completing the BRM, and that way you can really support your brand partners to the best of your ability in their BRM completion process. We have an e-learning course on the adoption tool available on learn.worldly.io. So I invite you to review that e-learning course if you want to learn more. And talking about our e-learning courses, we have also BRM e-learning courses available. So go to learn.worldly.io or click the question mark on the Worldly platform to navigate to our e-learning center. Furthermore, we have support.worldly.io where you can find our help desk, where you can submit a support request and really browse through all BRM FAQs. And then I already touched on this during the demo. we have question by question guidance on howtohig.org. And this is really extensive guidance that goes with each question. So part of this guidance you can already find in the tool on the platform, but on howtohig.org you can find more information such as what evidence is required for verification and some additional technical guidance. So if you are going through the BRM assessment and you need more information than you can find in the tool, then this is a great resource for you to review and to visit. And let me just share also the link to the guide directly with you in the chat to have a look. And then lastly, before we move on to the Q&A part, the BRM is a cadence assessment. The cadence is open from March 4th to June 30th. And June 30th really is a critical deadline for members to submit the BRM as part of the membership requirements from Cascale. It is also a deadline for benchmark tool access. So if you want your results to be included in the benchmarking, please submit before June 30th. This does not mean that posting after June 30th is not possible. So for non-Cascale members, you can also post after June 30th. However, it's recommended to stick to this deadline also for relevance. We are reporting BRM 2023 data for your fiscal year 2023. So in order to analyze your performance and implement solutions and improvements, it is great to do that timely, of course. Cascale and Worldly will be hosting office hours and webinars going forward during Cadence, so please stay tuned for these ad hoc sessions to be planned. You'll be informed about those through email, so keep an eye out. Okay, so then let me have a look at some of the questions that you asked in the Q&A, and see, Adrian, that you've already answered quite some of them typing, and I think it's great to just review some of them also for the whole audience. So maybe we can just take the first question, which reads, most of the Higg FEM is around apparel, footwear, and other textile industries. As we are from plastic and metal, FMCG, we would like to include this as well among primary sectors that you targeted. So.
In this case, regarding to the Higg FEM, we are going to bring this information to our mail. What is about the Higg BRM, we don't have specificities on which kind of product is being made, the product, because our questionnaire is broad enough to consider whether it is plastic, metal, or textile, since it intends to produce an apparel, accessories, or footwear, for example, intend to be sold to the consumer. So answering to this, the Higg BRM is for brands and retailers, and is assessing the whole value chain without considering specificity on the raw material itself.
Great. Thank you for explaining that. So the next question is about the issues and opportunities section. So in 2022, that section was visible, and now our participant reports that this section is not visible. Could you elaborate on when this will be available?
The issues and opportunities is we develop issues by criticality for this cadence. The thing here is we want to bring or facilitate the detection of the pending issues and the areas to be improved. However, opportunities will be not available for this cadence. We are working on this to have it back for the next cadence. And we decided to not having this this year because we want to make more efficient our resources and having all together with the alignment with the CSRD.
Yeah, great. So there will be the criticality report, right? Which is definitely useful for drafting the strategy, and then moving forward next year, more will follow. When is verification due is the next question.
In this case, if you are planning to verify your BRM, we highly encourage you to do it as soon as you can, because at the end, the verification is going to bring you many values, many relevant results that I recommend you to have it as soon as possible to facilitate the continuity on your sustainability strategy. However, will remain open until the end of the year.
Great. Thank you. So next question is on CSRD. Are the CSRD aligned questions going to be optional?
In this case, we are evaluating different scenarios. We want to keep the year-over-year tracking and keep consistent the BRM across the year. So one of the scenarios that we are evaluating is to those questions that are addressing specifically for CSRD, keep it as optional. But yes, for sure we are evaluating this, but I don't have an answer right now for these questions to be more clear.
Yeah. And then the next question also ties into CSRD, which says, if not, the BRM puts companies not in scope for CSRD between rock and hard spot. So there's of course also many companies they don't need to report to CSRD. Well, yet, right? CSRD is also
Exactly.
a moving target over the next years.
Well, the BRM itself is, as I said, a comprehensive assessment, and the current mapping that we finalize is an overlapping around 60% of the questions is overlapping today. So as it is today, there is a well-known overlapping in line with the previous answer to other question is that we are evaluating with different scenarios because we understand that some organizations don't need to apply or to be compliant with the CSRD. And however, as you were mentioning, Cassia, some small, medium enterprise will be affected indirectly by CSRD because the plan of European Commission is make the reporting affecting to more companies independently on the size they have.
Yeah, and what can you share on the timeline for alignment between CSRD and Higg BRM?
Yeah, as we mentioned, we are planning to have publish a white paper in May, and then host a webinar explaining the CSRD and BRM alignment around June. Dates will be shared within our social media and the newsletter, so please stay tuned, and we will give you more further details in the upcoming weeks.
Great, and Worldly will also amplify those communications. So follow Cascale's channels or Worldly communication channels, and we will inform you when the white paper is going to be published and when Cascale will host a webinar on this topic. And topics such as a timeline for further alignment will also be discussed there, which that is safe to assume. The next question reads, our company carries multiple brands and retailers, each of which are at different stages of their sustainability journey. We are unsure whether we should complete our company profile on BRM at the brand level for one of our brands or at the company level for both our brand and retail.
In this case, if you are a holding group and you have different brands under your business, and they are in the different sustainability stages, I recommend you to conduct a BRM individual for each of the brands. In that way, you can assess better how they are performing in terms of ESG and address better the resources you have to improve those gaps or potential issues that you are going to find out with the BRM. Also, it will facilitate a healthy competition in between the brands to improve their sustainability along the years. In case you are a retailer, you have your own path. As Cassia mentioned, there is 3 different paths, one for brand, another one for retailers, and the third one is for brand and retailers altogether. So in this case, my recommendation is to conduct a PRM individually for each of the brands.
Great. Thanks for explaining that, Adriaan. So the next question from Christina concerns alignment with different frameworks. So her question is, are you planning to consider another certification like B Corp in the assessment? Thank you.
In our agenda, in our schedule, after the CSRD alignment, we are considering to mapping other standards and frameworks to be defined.
Great. And maybe I can also just show, is it this slide? Yeah, just to just to list the frameworks that the BRM is currently meeting, right? So Adriaan told about the textile exchange, material benchmarks at DHC, and Fair as DTI, and responsible practices framework. So, well, great to see more in the future, and this is the current status. That was the last question for now in the Q&A. We have another 6 minutes on the clock, so please, if you have more questions, populate them in the Q&A box, and we are happy to address them. So just going to give it another couple of minutes. And if there's no further questions, then I'm happily giving you back 5 minutes of your time. So I want to thank everyone for your great questions, engagement. We hope that this has been informative and useful for you. And please don't hesitate to reach out if after we close off the webinar, you have questions for us. You can reach out to Adriaan at Cascale or to support.worldly.io, and our support team is really happy to assist you there. All right, so with that said, have a great rest of your day, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.